So hello everyone and welcome to today's yoga class. So today's class we're going to focus on opening up the hips and the hamstrings. So really nice if you do a lot of sitting throughout the day, or even if it's from walking or just your day-to-day life. So we tend to hold a lot of tension in the hips and a lot of tightness, and often it's a place we hold emotions as well. So this can be a really nice practice just to release out and just feel great. So we're going to start by just coming into a comfortable seated position. So if you'd like to use a block or any other props, feel free to do that. You can pop it just underneath the bum and just get yourself into a comfortable place. So we're just going to start off, we'll just be here for about 5 minutes. If you need to leave the legs out in front or out to the sides as well, that's absolutely fine. And just let the shoulders just relax. You can just draw them back one at a time. Just imagine the shoulder blades just melting down the back of the body. You can let the eyes just gently close over. You're just drawing length up through the crown of the head. So as if you're just trying to make the spine as long, as straight as possible. So letting the sit bones root down into the earth beneath you. Just feel that connection and draw your attention into your breath now. Notice how the breath feels today. Is it quick, slow? Is it deep or shallow? Do you feel the breath more in the belly or in the chest? We're going to start to bring a count to our breath. So we're going to try and take equal inhales and equal exhales. So I'm going to start with an inhale for 2 and exhale for 2. We're gradually going to increase this just up to 6. But if you feel you want to stay maybe 4 or 2 even, just see what works best for you. So together, inhale for a count of 2, 1. Exhale for 2, 1. Inhale for 2, 1. And exhale for 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Increasing to 6 if you want. Inhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just continue with this for 2 more rounds, just with the count that you prefer. And when you've finished your last round, just let your breath return to its natural rhythm. If you're sitting on anything, you might just want to gently lean forward and just remove it. We're going to take our hands onto the knees and just roll the spine back, tuck the chin in, draw the belly in. Inhale, take the chest forward, look forward. Exhale, belly in, tuck the chin. Inhale, chest comes forward. And again, just following the rhythm of your breath. You can start to connect to your Ujjayi breath, breathing in through the nose, down through the back of the throat, back out through the nose. Just feeling that slight constriction, the back of the throat, almost making that sound like an ocean. And then just come back to center. Draw the shoulders up to the ears and relax them down. And just do that a couple of times, squeezing them up and just releasing them down. And then switching the direction, bringing the shoulders up and forward. And then once more. Lovely. And just relax them down. Taking the hands back onto the knees. We're going to start to take circles here. So just look over towards the left hand side. You're going to take your right shoulder over towards the left, across to the right and back. And coming back and over towards the front. And just doing a couple of these. And just trying to keep those sit bones planted down into the ground. And then switch the direction, just nice and slowly. Just really taking your time. Warming up into the spine. And then inhale to come back to center. Just take the hands out of the hips. And just lean down onto the sit bones, slide the feet out, and just take the soles of the feet together. Let the knees drop out to the side. So you can shimmy the feet a little bit further forward if you need to, making more of a diamond shape. So either just let the hands rest on the knees, or you can just keep them alongside the hips. So keeping your spine long here. And just let gravity do its job, just letting the knees just slowly drop closer towards the floor. Again, we're just starting to warm up into our practice, so we're not aiming to get too deep into this pose. Nice deep breaths, fill the belly. And then just release the hands. We're going to stretch our left leg out to the left hand side. Just flex the foot, draw the foot towards you. Take the sole of the right foot and just bring it into the inner left thigh. Again, lengthening here, keeping the hands on either side of the hips. And then we're going to rotate the torso over to look towards the left foot. One hand comes on either side of that left leg. Keeping that left foot flexed, the toes are drawn towards you. Take a deep inhale and lengthen, and maybe start to walk the hands forward towards that left foot. Just if it feels comfortable for you. Again, we're not aiming to get too deep in here just yet. We're still opening up and warming up the body. So you might just gently tiptoe the fingers, if you can say tiptoe the fingers, towards that left foot. You might feel a nice stretch here into the lower back as well. So often when we've tight hips, we can get stiff lower back pain in the lower back. Can be very much connected. And then inhale, walking the hands back. And we're going to switch sides. So take that right leg out and the left leg in. And just get yourself comfortable again, making sure you're on the sit bones. Inhale to lengthen. Just staying here for a moment before we come over to the right. And then inhale to look towards the right foot. One hand on either side of that right leg. And maybe inching those fingers forward. maybe a little bit further. Again, just going very easy. You want to feel a little bit of a stretch, but not a pull. Slight discomfort is okay, but no pain. Remembering that your body will eventually get there if it's meant to. Time, practice, and patience. And then inhale to come back up. And just bring that right leg back in. Just take a couple more of those little rotations, hands onto the knees, drawing circles. Maybe going a little bit deeper. And then switch direction. Yeah, then coming back to center. And we're going to make our way over onto all fours. So if you have any discomfort in the knees or any pain on all fours, feel free to roll up a blanket or double over on the mat, just to make sure that your knees are happy. I'm going to take the hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Now, from here, just take a deep inhale. Start to draw up through the core muscles, engaging into the pelvic floor muscles. And we're going to stretch our right leg out. So push the heel away from the body. You can keep the toes tucked under. Nice deep full breath. And exhale, release, switch sides, stretch that left leg out, ball of the foot, push the heel away. And exhale, release. Stretch that right leg out once again. This time reach the left arm forward, maybe lifting up that right leg if balance allows. Just warming up into the core, engaging the core muscles, stretching the core muscles. Stretch out that left leg, right arm, start strengthening the core muscles. And maybe lift the left leg. And then exhale, release the hand, release the knee. We're going to stretch that right leg out and we're going to bring it over towards the left hand side. And then just bring your gaze over towards the right foot. Just feeling a lovely stretch through the side of the body. And then inhale, come to center. Take that right foot back over. We're going to switch, take the left leg over towards the right hand side. Bring your gaze towards the left foot. Feel that opening, breathing into the left side of the body. And then inhale, coming back to center. We're going to bring the two big toes together. Take the knees out nice and wide and push all the way back into a child's pose. Start to walk the hands forward. You can take the forehead to the ground. Use a pillow, whatever feels comfortable. And just walk the fingertips a little bit further forward if you can to get that stretch. And pushing the weight back. You might want to move a little bit from side to side if that feels nice. And then inhale, start to come forward. So again, hands under the knees, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Take your right foot to between the hands. And just let the hips start to sink forward. You can come onto blocks here if you want, if you have blocks available or if you have books at home, whatever you have. I'm just taking them one on either side of that right foot. You might even bring them up a little higher. So again, just whatever feels good for you. Nice deep breaths. From here, we're going to shift back into a half split or runner's stretch. So just send the hips back. Start to bring the weight onto the heel, the foot onto the heel. Again, you can keep your blocks handy if you want. You can either stay like this if you have a little bit more flexibility. You might take the foot and the knee slightly further apart. But just being mindful here, and we're not going into a full split. That's not our aim. We're just aiming to get that stretch into the back of the leg. So again, use blocks if you need them. You can take the hands onto the floor. Nice deep, full breaths, breathing into that opening. So a really deep stretch into that right hamstring. Lovely. Start to bend into that right knee, keeping up onto the heel. And then exhale, straighten back. See if you can get a little bit deeper. Again, you can wiggle the foot and the knee further apart. And then we're going to bend that right knee. And we're going to take the sole of the right foot back down to the floor. Again, you can take your blocks if you want. Tuck the back toes under, and we're going to step back into a downward facing dog. So option here to keep your blocks if you want to, and then step back. Pushing the weight into the heels. So if you want, you can keep a deep bend in the knees. So just whatever feels best for you. So if you find that the heels aren't quite reaching the floor, that's perfectly fine. And just bring a little bit deeper bend into the knees. And then inhale, look forward between the hands. We're going to step our left foot forward this time. Drop the right knee down. Let the hips sink forward again. You can use blocks if you want. You can take your hands to the floor. And keeping the chest lifted, breathing deep, sinking. With each exhale, just feel yourself melting a little bit more into the pose. We're going to start to shift the weight back. So straightening into that left leg. Again, you can shimmy foot and knee further apart. Coming up onto the blocks. Again, lots of options if you want to just keep your hands directly onto the floor. That's fine too. Just making sure you're not rounding into the spine. You want to keep the chest lifted and the spine long. And just like we did before, bring a little bit of a bend into that left knee. And then exhale, draw it back. And then bend, place the hands down, step back into a downward facing dog. Again, using your blocks or not. I'm going to take 3 full breaths here, really push the weight into the legs, into the heels. We're going to gently rock the hips from side to side. I'm making a kind of semicircle here. And then press the left foot into the floor. You can take it slightly closer to center if you like. Reach the right leg up. We're going to bend the right knee and open the hips. So take the right foot over towards the left hand side. And then inhale, coming back to center. Release that right foot down. And inhale, lift the left leg up. Bend the left knee. Left foot comes over to the right hand side. Press the right heel down. And then inhale, square off the hips. Release the left foot down. And just slowly start to walk the hands towards the feet. And come into a nice forward fold. You can take hold of either the opposite elbow. Just let the upper body be heavy. Place the hands onto the shins, lengthen, look forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly come all the way up. Reach the arms up and overhead. And exhale, palms come to the sides. You're going to walk yourself up to the top of the mat. And just make sure that the feet are hip distance apart. If you want to take it slightly wider, you can. And we're going to come into a nice hip opener here. So if you want to come alongside a wall or if you have a chair, feel free to do that. And we're going to take the right ankle over towards the left thigh. We'll start to draw that right knee out. Again, feel free to hold onto the wall if you need to. And then slowly start to push the hips back. Hopefully you can hear me over Lily's drinking. Sinking the hips down. Maybe take the hands all the way to the ground, otherwise bring them into prayer position. You can hold onto the wall again or a piece of furniture. Just enjoying that opening, that release. And then slowly coming back up. A lovely little bit of balance work here as well. And switch over. You can pedal out the legs if you like. Take the left ankle onto the right thigh, pushing the hips back slowly, sinking down. Again, hands in prayer position, holding onto a piece of furniture, or maybe taking hands to the ground. And then inhale, slowly taking your time, come all the way up and just walk out the legs. And if you're at the top of the mat, we're going to step the right leg back and we're going to bring the feet up just about kind of feet parallel. So you can take a nice wide stance here if you want to bring it a little bit closer, a little bit wider, just kind of adjust yourself into what feels comfortable. Again, here you might use, take blocks, so you can pop the blocks down in front of you. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So taking the hands to the hips, inhale to lengthen, exhale, slowly start to fold forward, pushing the hips back, taking your time, maybe bringing the hands down towards the blocks. You could take your forearms to the blocks, or maybe taking the hands down towards the floor. So just taking your time, letting the upper body be completely heavy. So we're also getting a nice inversion here. So the head is below the heart. So just taking your time. We're going to come into Skandasana, or variation of Skandasana. So I want you to start to walk your hands over to the right foot. You can bend that right knee. You're going to come over onto the heel of the left foot. So if you want to stay up nice and high, you can do that. If you want to get a little bit deeper, feel free. So it just depends on where you are. And if you've practiced recently, if you've been doing any activities and making you feel a little bit tighter. So remember, some days our body will want something and be able to do it, other days it won't. Switching sides. And yoga is all about honoring that, honoring what the body wants and not forcing ourselves into something. And once more, press the right foot down, walk the hands, flex the left, and then switching once again, over to the other side, and then coming back to a wide-legged forward fold. Walk the feet in, just outside hip distance apart. Take the feet parallel. We're going to come down into Malasana. Option here, if the heels are popping off the floor, you can roll the mat up. You can pop blocks underneath the heels, or you can come down and just take the soles of the feet together. So we're going to press the elbows into the knees, palms together, lift the chest, and just come down into this nice deep squat. So breathing through it. This can be quite a challenging pose for some people, so just take your time with it. If you need to come out any earlier, do that. Really good for opening the hips, for the digestive system, ankles, loosening and stretching the back. Take the left hand in front, right hand behind. Just let the bum come down to the floor. Take the legs out wide. I want you to stretch out your arms and just interlace the fingers. And we're going to imagine that we're stirring a big pot or cauldron, whatever it is you want to stir. Maybe it's the plum pudding, although it's not really that time of year. So draw the hands in towards you, and we're going to bring them all the way over to the left foot. Bring them forward, over to the right. Draw back. Some nice big circles. Again, you can go deeper or not as deep with this stretch. And switching directions, making sure here that the sit bones are on the ground. And inhale, coming back to center, release. Bring the soles, the feet to the floor. And we're going to do windshield wiper your knees, so just dropping the knees from side to side. And then coming back into cross-legged position. We're going to walk the hands forward and we're going to come into a pigeon pose. So we're going to take the right knee forward, right foot over towards the left hand side, stretch that left leg back. So either stay with the hands up on either side, or if you want, you can start walking the hands forward. So if you find you're rolling over onto the right hand side, you might grab a block, prop it underneath the bum, or you can take a bend into the left knee. So just find whatever works best for you, maybe coming down, forehead to the ground. If you want to get a little bit deeper, bring that right foot slightly further forward to get that stretch. Inhale, walk the hands back towards you. Option to take a twist, thigh stretch here, draw the left foot towards you, reach the right hand back. Otherwise you can just remain in the pigeon. And a deep stretch here into the front of that left leg. You can also use a strap here and hold it out. And then release. We're going to switch sides. So we're going to come through a downward facing dog. Take a breath. And left knee forward, stretch the right leg back. Lengthen, walk the hands forward. Maybe come onto the forearms again, just seeing how you feel. Making sure that the hips are equal again. If you're rolling onto one side, use props, whatever you need. And walking the hands back to take an optional thigh stretch. Reaching back with the left hand to the right foot. And again, you can use a strap or whatever props, belt. release. Take a downward facing dog. Walk the feet forward between the hands. Come to seated. And we're going to come into one last pose. We're going to take the right shin parallel to the top of the mat. And then just pop the left ankle on top of the right knee. Just stacking the shins. So it might look a little bit more like that for you. And if you want to stay in a regular cross-leg position, that's also an option. So otherwise, just bringing the shins parallel. Let your eyes close over here. Just take a couple of moments just to let your body sink into this pose. There are hundreds of other hip openers, but for today, we're just going to focus on these. And switching sides, you can just take the hands back, left shin on the bottom, right heel on top. Again, placing the hands, one on the knee, one on the foot, or either side. So even just this 30-minute class, you'll notice a huge difference. Notice that openness. The more often you practice, the more benefits you can receive. And then release once more. We'll do our windshield wiper knees. Dropping the knees from side to side. And coming back into a cross-leg position. If you have time and you're at home, feel free to take a shavasana here, coming down onto your back. Otherwise, remaining here in your seated cross-leg position, just pause and bring your attention back into your breath. Following that breath as you breathe in through the nose, down the back, the throat, filling the chest and the belly. Notice that release, that openness in your hips. Again, even just that half hour can make such a difference. If you would like to pause here and set an intention for the rest of the day, the week, whatever it is, just use this moment here to do that. I want to thank you all for joining me, wherever you are, whatever this is. I'm going to inhale, reaching the arms up, palms together, palms to the forehead, palms to heart center. Namaste.